Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, just getting back to border statistics, when you became secretary the last month, January of 2021, I understand you were not secretary for the entire month. There were 95,000 encounters along the northern and southern border. 2 months later, in March of 2021, that number jumped to 192,000. Since that time, there have only been 2 months during your time as secretary where those numbers have dropped below 192. October of 22, 187. January of, I guess, that would have been January of fiscal year 22 would have been 186. We've seen those numbers increase very dramatically. Now we know they're down from the all-time high of December. December there were over 300,000, and we've seen a drop. They still are greater than they were fiscal year last year. So January of 23, the numbers still outpace January of 22. February of 23, the numbers outpace February of 22. We know last year set a record of 2.7 million. Up from the previous record the year before of 1.9 million, and as I understand, we're on track to once again break that record once again. And so I'm trying, by using statistical information, to get back to how this administration can again maintain that the border is secure. I know you say we do a better job of detecting individuals coming across. But I think we do a poor job of deterring anyone from coming across. It does not appear to me that anyone has any concern about coming across the border and any potential consequences that that may result in. Let me ask you this, Mr. Secretary. Do you believe that wall construction or walls in general, that they are an important component to securing the border? And I understand we're not going to be able to build a wall from sea to shining sea, and that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about in particular sectors of the border, have we not seen that walls are effective?
Congressman, may I respond to something that you said?
Yes, sir.
Preceding your question, because there are two things to remember, if I may. Number one is the level of migration throughout the hemisphere. Signifies that it's not a challenge specific to our southern border. It is a very serious challenge at our southern border, but not exclusively so. On January 5th, because you speak of deterrence, you speak of reducing the number of encounters. On January 5th, we issued new policies with respect to some of the most challenging demographics that we were encountering our southern border: Cubans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and Haitians. And we must keep in mind that it's very difficult to remove individuals from Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua because of our absence of diplomatic relations. And so what we said is we will deliver a safe, orderly, and lawful pathway for you if you avail yourself of it. And we screen and vet individuals before they arrive at our border. But if you don't use those lawful pathways, we will indeed deliver a consequence to you if you show up in between the ports of entry at our southern border. We have seen a approximately 95% drop in the number of encounters of individuals from those four nationalities in between our ports of entry at our southern border. That is the type of structure, that is the policy underpinning that we need to pursue, and I very much look forward to doing so with you. More fundamentally, we need to work together to pass immigration reform because this system is broken.
Well, and I agree the system's broken. I mean, immigration court has over a 2 million case backlog.
Indeed.
We last year adjudicated roughly 300,000 cases. So my public school math from back in high school, if you equate that out, that's a 7-year backlog. And so as we're talking about, we're allowing people to remain in the country. We're not allowing them to remain in the country for days or weeks. We're allowing them to remain in the country for years. And so when someone has been in the country for 7 years before they have an immigration hearing, that to me is a broken system, and I understand that that's beyond your control. But clearly our immigration system is broken, our asylum system is broken. But we do not have a secure border, Mr. Secretary, and that's where you and I will just have to disagree. I do not see any circumstance where I can go back to the people that elected me and tell them that our border is secure. But I would like to know, as it relates to barriers, fences, walls, whatever you want to call them. Secretary Ortiz was here, again, briefed members of this committee 2 weeks ago. He said that that is an important part of border security, wall construction. He told us in the hearing that we had in McAllen that he disagreed with the administration when they stopped wall construction. Apparently, you must agree that there's at least some benefit of it, because you talk about the fact that you've approved 129 projects. Now, those projects you say are to close gaps, so they're not really for new wall construction for any significant purpose, but at least to close gaps. So how important are fences? How important are barriers? And why has this administration acted so slowly to incorporate that into the entire strategy? I mean, we're looking at a border strategy. And it seems to me that this administration, whether it be you or whether it be the people that you answer to, are just saying, we're not going to build any walls. Walls are bad. I disagree with that. I think that walls are beneficial. I think that they do a great job, and I know I've gone over time, so I'm going to allow you to answer, and then I'll yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman, you are correct that the asylum system, as part of the entire immigration system, is broken. They're all broken. You mentioned that, that is beyond anything that we can do. Actually, this is the first administration that has done something about it within its administrative authorities. We issued an asylum officer regulation that enables asylum officers, rather than immigration judges, to make the final asylum adjudication. We are taking that years-long process that is unworkable and bringing it down to less than a year. That is our objective. And I do believe that closing the gaps is important, which is precisely why I approve those projects.
Thank you, Mr. Guest. My public